Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are welcome to the Discovery Show, TDS TV, here on Facebook and on YouTube. My name is Precious Adadidiodu. I am your host, ably supported by our executive producer, Mr. James Kobna Opong. This program is ably sponsored by Henbeck 360 Hub, formerly known as Henbeck Agency. And this is basically a show that seeks to interview professionals in the diaspora and beyond who are making significant impact in the area of academia, research, healthcare, politics, religion, business, and what have you. And this evening, we are privileged to be speaking to another person who is making significant impact in his own area. He is a lecturer at Lancaster University. His name is Dr. Yakubu Salifu Salid. You're welcome to the Discovery Show, Salid.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Fantastic. It's been a long time, and finally, we are happy to have you here.
Yeah, now the die is cast.
Amazing, amazing. So just tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Salid?
Thank you very much, first of all, for the opportunity to be here. I know it has been a very long journey to be here. And thank you for the question as well. Normally, questions about myself, I find it very difficult to answer, but I will try as much as possible to put it in context because it's a very long story. So I'm Yakubu Salifu Salid, and a Ghanaian. So I started school. I'm from a very modest family, and I started my school from local primary school, which normally they refer to as Saito. So you should know what that means. So from there, and I also continued to the junior secondary school or junior high school, now they call it. And there I began to identify myself who I want to be when I grow up. So I like issues around teaching, issues around mentoring, issues around, governance. So it was really, really intriguing at that age. I was so much interested in, how governance can be used to impact in the life of people. So I used to read a lot about, influential public figures and, government officials, both in Ghana, Africa, and I closed the group. So I was really, really much kind of interested. So when I completed JHS, so my father decided to move me from where I was to my auntie's place. So it was a new environment for me. And something dramatic happened. When I went, they thought my grades were very good for me to do general arts, general science, I beg your pardon. But because the general science did not kind of conform with what I want to be, I kept on dodging. And a lot of my friends were like, wow, we want to do science. We've been, denied the opportunity, and you have been, they chase you, and you're also running away from it. But eventually, I didn't do it. I didn't like it, to be honest, because I thought maybe that time that, where I want to be, that is not the route at all. So I completed secondary school and came back to Kumasi, where we were, Ashanti region specifically, where we were. Then it was now time for me to get to the sort of profession that I like. So maybe going to do something around political science too, because that time, my thinking was that once you get that kind of, exposure, you'll be able to change so many things, in the world. But this time around, I have a different perspective altogether. But as I said, I come from a very modest family, and we do have, challenge financially. So there was no way my father was able to send me straight away to university at that time. And it was really difficult moment in my life. And my brother wanted me to consider, other areas where maybe they could afford, for instance, Polytechnic, it was just out of my list because it doesn't fall within my dream. Not that maybe I'm kind of demeaning that kind of education, but I didn't see the link between that one and what I want. So I even preferred teaching. So teacher training was there, one of the options. But unfortunately, that time, they used to sell form. It was only paper forms that you go and buy. And I think the deadline has, elapsed when I finally decided. So the university is not possible. My teacher training is not. Then Polytechnic, I cancel it off at all. So the issue of nursing came in. I was like, wow, what? Nursing? No. It's also far beyond where I'm looking at. But that was perhaps where destiny wanted to push me. So my father worked at the hospital as a senior security officer. So he had friends who actually also convinced him about some of the prospects within the health, and other thing. But a lot of them were still saying, even if it is health, why not going to the university straight? Yeah, that was the very problem that we are running away from. There isn't enough money to kind of cater for me. So one of my dad's friend took me to Agogo. We went there even on a motorbike. That was my first time, enjoying at the back of a motor. We went there, bought the form, filled the form. I was very hesitant to do it because I didn't like it at all. They called us for interview. I went. Then that time we used to write entrance exams also. I wrote, and the information was that, Agogo is part of a CHAG, the institution that they call CHAG. So I think an insider got a hint that, I really performed well, I was a top. So it was really good. But something dramatic happened. Though I was seen as, very good in that. Perhaps most of the questions were about, current affairs and things that I was already interested in. So it was my area. They didn't pick me. I'm like, wow, they didn't pick me. So I came and told my dad, who was very, very sad. So you've prevented me from doing all that I want. Perhaps it's not they are making because they don't have the financial means. But what you asked me to do, I have not. Then they said, no, this cannot be because an insider who has been there and said, they got to know the people that they've shortlisted and even the grades so far as the entrance exams was concerned. And there's no way my name could miss. So we went to see the principal who was posted there not long ago. So I think we were the first batch that she was admitting. So she told me that, yes, they don't want to admit me because they know I'll leave and go to university with my grades. That's, I think, some of the things that they used to see, so they know my grades are very good and I may leave and block somebody's chance. And I said, no, we don't have any, even with this one, unless with some support from, sponsorship also, because there's no way we can afford. So we're just in that limbo and they started about 2 weeks. I didn't receive any letters, so all hope were lost. Then I was teaching at a private school. So I just made my mind that, okay, then the following year, I'll try and gather some money and go to, and buy university form and do what I want. So about 2 weeks or so, we were there and somebody brought a letter in the house, specially delivered. So they brought the letter to me and he waved at my dad. So I saw the letter and it was admission from Agogo 2 weeks after people have gone. And I was like, no, I've already gone through my grieving process. I won't go. But my family have to convince me, you have to go. You go later on, whatever you want to do. So I went to Agogo and I completed. Then from there, I went just immediately after our rotation, I went to do my degree. Completed in 2009, that was Garden City, but we graduated in 2011 when I was adjudged overall best student. And I said, okay, then it look as if the nursing that I didn't even like, I'm beginning to like it. Then I went to do my master's. Before then, I went to do diploma in education at Mampong. I taught in midwifery school there for about a semester. Then I went to do my master's in Legon, and I went to do exchange program in Canada, Alberta, University of Alberta. So there, I just decided that, yeah, okay. Initially, I wanted to teach, so I could move into teaching. So I applied to do my PhD in Nottingham. So that's just a story about how everything started and where it's going.
Amazing, amazing. And they said that behind every story, every glory is a story. I mean, I'm sure someone will readily think that, oh, Salid is a lecturer at Lancaster University, probably had it all smooth, but it's beautiful to be talking about some of these stories so that other people can also be encouraged. So thank you very much, Salid Yakubu Salifu, lecturer at Lancaster University here in the UK. For sharing your story. That's a great one. So, I mean, some of the things I'm getting to know that the issue about current affairs, politics, and all that, they didn't start today. They started
long way ago, long way ago.
Amazing. So tell us, what did you do? Of course, you were in University of Nottingham for your PhD. What was your PhD thesis about?
Okay, thank you very much. So during my master's, I did my thesis on how people who do have tuberculosis, they are being managed, because I was the institutional TB coordinator at my hospital at Asama SD Hospital. So I realized some of the challenges that they go through. So that was the focus of my thesis. So when I was going to do my PhD, of course, you need to write a proposal. So it was one of the areas. When I look at the website, they had PhD in palliative, PhD in nursing, specialization in palliative care. They had specialization in health information and what have you, maternal and child health and what. So it was one of the things outside maybe even health economics. It was one of the issues that I did economics in secondary school. So I just weighed, and I also realized that the palliative care is an area that I think I can do. So I did put in an application, and I had an offer. So I explored the challenges of men living with advanced prostate cancer in Ghana. Let me just give you a small information about it to put it in context. Globally, 1 in 8 people do have prostate cancer. And when it comes to Black men, it's 1 in 4 people do get prostate cancer. So that's alarming. And in Ghana, we have very few institutional palliative care teams, Kolebu, Konfanoche, then Rage, then something small going on in Tamale and what have you. So what happens is that if somebody has a palliative care condition, the person is admitted at the hospital, they manage the person. They don't have a long-term facility to admit the person. So they manage the person, the acute episode, they discharge the person, and the patient and their families do their own thing in the home context. So that's where my interest was. And somebody who asked why prostate cancer, I've given one of the reasons. Cervical cancer, breast cancer was on the rise, but the National Health Insurance do cover some of those treatments. It was the prostate cancer that it doesn't. So I wanted to look at a disease condition that has that full scale of challenges. The role men also play within our society. When a man is sick, the entire household or community is sick. So that's what I did. And we had very interesting findings. And the key findings was, some of the challenges of managing care in the home context, where the family caregivers do everything for the patient with minimal support from the health staff. And here I'm not trying to kind of put the health staff in a very bad light, but we do not have enough health professionals who do home visits. And those who even decide to do home visits, most of them do the home visit with their own resources. because there isn't any budgetary allocation for that. So I decided to kind of explore that. And another issue was the fact that prostate cancer is regarded as a licentious, people who have engaged in licentious behavior. So people think that once you have prostate cancer, you are a womanizer, or you have been a womanizer, or you are still in it. So it kind of prevents people from seeking help, because the moment you tell somebody, cool, no prostate cancer, hey, those kind of things, and some of the issues that people raise. And one other thing was, caring for somebody, we need a resource limited context. Unlike maybe in US, let's say UK, we have specialists, palliative care people. You can even be the house, they will come and visit you, provide care and what have you. We don't have those facilities. So that was some of the things that I explored during my PhD, and I'm glad I did it. But just to kind of add this point, I wasn't a palliative care nurse or a specialist. So during my PhD, I took the opportunity and enrolled in a lot of courses in palliative care to kind of give me much more insight into that. And, because of that, I was almost everywhere, all conferences, everything, learning. Presented a lot within the university and London, UK alone. I presented in London, in Bournemouth, in Glasgow, in Harrogate, in BGU, and had about 3 or so awards from there. And outside UK too, I've done presentation in Bern, Switzerland, Brussels, and I had an award there, like Belgium. Then I also presented in Berlin, Germany, and I also had an award. So I realized that my interest in the field really went high. And that was also, I missed several grants, of course, because I didn't have enough resources. So I had grant from my research group, to present in Glasgow. I had grant from the postgraduate. It's very competitive, but I do apply. I have one principle in life, if you knock and nobody opens, nothing will happen to you. But if you don't knock, how will you know what is there for you? And I also had about £800 from Sociology of Health and Illness. And I also had another one from Montreal. So the list could go on and on and on. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yakubu Salifu Salid is a lecturer in palliative care at Lancaster University. And beautiful story, beautiful one, of course. You keep talking about palliative care, but I'm sure there's someone who's wondering what is palliative care. We'll come there. So you break it down for us, for those of us who don't understand. Yeah. But viewers, please feel free to drop your comments, ask any questions in the comment section, and I'll find time to read that. But just a gentle reminder that you are watching the Discovery Show TDS TV here on Facebook and on YouTube. This is a show that seeks to interview professionals in the diaspora and beyond who are making significant impact in the area of education, academia, healthcare, politics, anything you can think about. And today we are sitting with Yakubu Salifu Salid, a PhD holder and a lecturer in palliative care at Lancaster University. This show is ably produced by Mr. James Kwabena Opon and proudly sponsored by Henbeck 60 Hub, formerly called Henbeck Agency. So just to say that in case you are looking for bags, you're looking for clothes, footwear, watches, and books, you need to look no further than Henbeck Agency. In other words, if you want any of these items to be shipped to you from any part of the world to where you are, to another person, whatever the situation may be, just contact Henbeck Agency. Now they have rebranded and the name is Henbeck 60 Hub. Henbeck 60 Hub. Henbeck is spelled HENBECK 60 Hub. Henbeck 60 Hub, formerly known as Henbeck Agency. You can contact them on +233 546 022 952. I take that again, +233 546 022 952. Or you can just send them an email at henbecktravels@gmail.com, or just visit their Facebook page, which is Henbeck Travel Agency. The good news is that they now have a new registered base in Ghana. So if you are in Ghana, you also want to ship anything to someone elsewhere, or you are at any part of the world and you want to ship items to Ghana, they have a base in Ghana that will correspond and do all these things for. So you don't need to worry at all. That is Henbeck 60 Hub for you. Thank you very much for sponsoring this program. And Sally, thank you again for sitting with us. So, I mean, talk to us. What is palliative care? About 2 minutes. Just break down, I mean, to our level so that we can understand.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's important to kind of put this in context. And yesterday, for instance, I was delivering a guest lecture in Indonesia, and one of the questions that somebody asked was that is the general perception that palliative care is a waste of time and also is done for people who to prolong, death. So palliative care is basically part of care that is provided for people with the sole aim to improve their comfort and alleviate their suffering. And I think with time, I came to realize that the palliative care has been one of the the philosophies that I hold right from childhood. My own thinking is, or philosophy is to help people who are in need, and also at least people who are going through some level of suffering, I'll be able to help them mitigate them. So I didn't know that maybe one day I'll come to this context. So that is exactly what palliative care is, provision of care that will improve their comfort. And previously, it was seen as, the provision of that care to people with cancers and also HIV. But now it involves other non-cancer conditions. And also that definition that depicts that palliative care starts when curative treatment has failed. We've now moved beyond that level. Palliative care starts as soon as a diagnosis of a life-limiting or life-threatening condition has started. So it goes along with it, even pre-bereavement and after bereavement, because sometimes when you have a dear person, dying, you start the bereavement process, and it is part of palliative care to provide that support to the family before they die.
Fantastic. And that is something that is well developed in advanced countries like UK. Of course, we'll come to that. I mean, back home in Ghana, Africa, and other lower middle income countries, it's a big issue, and it's a gray area that really needs to be explored. And we thank God for people like you who have already advanced in this area. So we'll come back to that and what you are doing and all that. You spoke about having your PhD in an area of prostate cancer, and I'm very much sure you did a publication which came out recently. That's last year, September 2020. But the title is very interesting. It said, "My wife is my doctor at home, a qualitative study exploring the challenges of home-based palliative care in a resource-poor setting." What were you trying to find out, and what did you find?
Okay, thank you very much. It's one of my favorite papers as well. So that paper is a publication from the PhD that I did. But the focus of that particular paper was the delivery of palliative care in the home context. Earlier on, I did intimated that, people who have patients with palliative care needs do not have the necessary support from healthcare professionals. So the family caregivers become the doctors of the patient at home. And that "my wife is my doctor at home" was just a direct quote from one of the participants who said the wife is a doctor at home doing everything that a doctor will do for him. And I think it was very, very catchy. So in that paper, that's what we explored, and we really found that whereas the family caregivers do have those challenges managing care at home, they also do have some kind of support system that we could build on to help palliative care move forward. And people also provide the palliative care based on some reasons. One of the reasons was the fact that, they also fear that one day they may get into that situation and people need to come to them. They provide care for people because they think, their loved one, they have done something good for them previously, and it's time to reciprocate. And the third reason is that people also believe in, the punishment, the supernatural punishment, that, once you leave the person unsupported, then God will deal with you when the person, or when you go to heaven. Then another important reason was that, they needed to provide this care because they do not have any option. I told you about advanced countries where maybe you have palliative care nurse or other people, or hospices where they could send these people to, but there is no anybody to provide care. So they are kind of forced, and that kind of also lead to issues around burden, even error, because they don't have enough training in it. And sometimes, anger and anguish, and because of financial challenges. So that's the key aspect that we explored in that paper.
Amazing, amazing. I definitely think, from what you've said, a lot need to be done in the context of palliative care and all that. Are there any solutions? Of course, practical, context-specific solutions you want to prefer for our political leaders, healthcare, policymakers, and all that? Any ideas?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Yes, for the solutions, I think we have more solutions to offer than even the problems that we are dealing with. One has to do with, policy, national policy about, palliative care. So we need to get that direction to whip people in line to provide the care. Because once you don't have that kind of policy, then people do things so disjointed. And as I said yesterday, the lecture that I delivered to colleagues in Indonesia, it was about, the use of interdisciplinary approach and the stories that we learned from Ghana. And I must commend highly the palliative care practitioners in Ghana who are providing care with such a limited resources, with such, atmosphere that do not have the requisite logistics, and sometimes as even a part-time, on top of their job. So I must commend them for doing that. However, despite all this work that we are doing, there are still more room for improvement. And in our individual ways, there are things that we can do. And that's why I started about 3 years ago, an NGO on prostate cancer to kind of solicit support in terms of information needs, practical needs to help these people. And now we are expanding that kind of a charity to a much more bigger level than prostate cancer.
Touch on that in about 5 minutes or 10 maximum.
Yeah, so with the bigger NGO that we are forming, which rooted from my PhD work. So initially we started this ProCash, which is Prostate Cancer Support Heritage, to help people with palliative care needs, specifically for prostate cancer patients, because that was my research focus. But later on we realized that palliative care is beyond just one disease. It is beyond just one dimension or one setting. It's beyond one age group. So the universal health coverage intimates that we should kind of incorporate palliative care in all the settings. So I've had colleagues and partners from UK here, and we have established and expanded this NGO. So we have what we call Compassionate Palliative Services, Compass Ghana. And Compass Ghana is a two-arm charity. So we have the UK arm and we have the Ghana arm. Just last month, we met in London with the trustees, and we've been able to finalize things. And within this week, we are registering it with the Charities Commission of UK. So that is almost done. So the Compass Ghana arm, we will just rename the ProCash into Compass Ghana arm. So what the UK arm will be doing, and our aim is to raise a minimum of 250,000 UK pounds to support palliative care services in Ghana in the first year. And what the Ghana arm of Compass will be doing is to deliver palliative care. And we are going to use an approach that, sits or that and is underpinned by research, the research that I did. We are going to help the community because we've seen that we do not have enough facilities within the hospitals to support the care. So first of all, establish as a unit, an inpatient unit in Komfo as a pilot, and later on roll on into Kolebu and Tamale Teaching Hospital. And even our aim is to go beyond Ghana, but now we focus on Ghana. And that will help the delivery of palliative care within the institutions to augment what is being done already. But we will also use what we call compassionate communities, where we'll empower the communities, and the family caregivers who are already providing the care with the needed logistics, with the needed information to go on to provide the care as they have always been doing. But this time around, supported by the facts, supported by evidence, supported by our national strategy for palliative care. Now we do have some strategy in place, but I'll call it, a rough plan because it is not being followed, and we don't have any standard against which is being measured. So that's what we want to do with time. It's a very difficult, task, but a journey of 1,000 miles begins with every step.
Thank you very much, Yakubu Salifu Salid, who is a lecturer in palliative care at Lancaster University here in the UK. Very much, deep into issues of palliative care, and he's already enumerated the great works he has done so far. And I'm glad that he's not just saying that, no, he's not just mentioning to our leaders what needs to be done. He himself has taken steps, and very bold ones, of course, and he's making great impact in his own area. So thank you very much, Salid, and congratulations on the NGO, the great collaborations you are having and the impact you are trying to make. Our prayer is that God will help you to win all the grants, the collaborations, and the monies you need to touch lives back home and wherever you need to extend to. So thank you.
Yeah, maybe with time, you'll be using your show to kind of also help us market the information about what needs to be done.
Anytime, Salid. This is basically a platform to help give accurate information and to touch lives. So myself, on behalf of myself and Mr. James Kobna Opon, we are very much happy to have that collaboration. So just to acknowledge quite a number of people watching: Josephine Abuajemensa, Eunice Amosa, Samoa Trim, he says, information will be as you. Janet Tijima, who is Mrs. Opon, the wife of our executive producer, she says, we appreciate our men. Eugene Owusu, thanks for watching. Okatechi Berima Setre says, then other professionals can also work within the palliative care unit. So that is a question.
Yes. He's my friend, my good friend. Yeah, you can.
Amazing. Achim again says, wonderful, Salid. You hit the nail right on the head. Social change and advocacy are intricate component of nursing. Thank you, Achim. Achim is a PhD student at Yale University. We interviewed him last 2 weeks. So thank you very much all for watching. So tell us, Salid, you enumerated your life, the various things you've done along the line, and also your journey right from childhood, challenges and all that. Has there been a role of any mentor or mentors in your life up to this level?
Yeah. So the answer is a yes and a no. A yes, in the sense that it has been an indirect, mentorship. And the first one I would say are my parents, my dad, my mom, and my senior brother. We didn't have enough family, knowing a lot of extended family members when growing up, because we migrated down south. So they have been very instrumental helping me. I do remember in secondary school, my brother bought a lot of books and sent it to me, and during that time, people every week, very happy to be receiving a lot of letters and what have you. And I only received, I think, one, the success card, one in my entire life when I was in secondary school, and it was my brother. So it was those people indirectly, they've influenced me. And I've had a lot of influence from my teachers, right from JSS. They call me professor. Anytime, and the school was close to our house, they just pass by and they say, Baba, for this, your son, you have to, take good care of him. He's a professor. He helped us to even teach his own colleagues and other things, So sometimes, all this informal, affirmation, it helped. And when I was growing up too, sometimes when I do get the opportunity, I meet some of the people that I aspire to be, and I get some informal chat with them, but not a very formal, a mentor. But in this, my current role, as per the university regulation, I have a former mentor who helped me to kind of how to navigate through the academic system. So that has been it. And I do also mentor other people as well.
Great. I'm coming there in a moment. Hold on. Catch a breath whilst I acknowledge these other people. Papayao is watching. David Amayao is watching. David, thanks very much for watching as well. And a few other people, I'll definitely do well to acknowledge you. Of course, our executive producer, Mr. James Komina Opon, is watching as well. So tell us, Salid, what has been your role as well? Like you did mention, you are mentoring other people. How are you doing that? And are you still open for more mentees?
Yes, I do it. As I said to you, my personal philosophy in life is that each individual should be given an opportunity to realize his or her full potential. That's one. Two, I also believe in equity for all. I hate a society that segregates, these people should do this, these people cannot do this. So naturally, I'll have a way of reacting to it naturally. So even during my time when I was doing my clinical education, I was in clinical practice. Some of the ward assistants and other things, people maltreat them, and I would be the person standing for them, encouraging them to go to school, and sometimes threatening them, if they say they are sacking you, I'm not coming to help you. And it's true. And I will give you one, though I don't have his permission, but I think he wouldn't be bothered for me to, I won't mention his name. When I was in practice, this person, young guy, most people didn't want to work with him. He was a ward assistant. And everywhere he go, he seemed to be causing trouble. So they brought him to my ward, and I said, yes, we will sit here. So he did one thing. I sat him down, and I realized that the guy, perhaps his IQ, to him, he see it as higher than what he's doing. So I just sat him down and said, you know something? I'm giving you 6 months to write. He brought his SSE, and he had A and B and other things in some of the subjects. And he was a ward assistant. He didn't get some of the grades. I gave him 6 months that if you don't write it and you have trouble, this is the last word that they've sent you. I also say, I don't need you, and you go home. He wanted to kneel down. No, that's not the issue. He went ahead, he wrote it, he passed, he went to do RGN, he went to do physician assistant, and now he's abroad doing medicine and specializing in surgery. You see, wow. So these are some of the things, we should be able to help, because I know when I was growing up, I wish I had people who could kind of help me that way. Even when I got to the master's level, I was going to Canada, and I've paid my school fees. That time, they increased the school fees from 1,200 to 5,700. So it was huge. I used everything that I have to pay. So I have to rely on my brother. No scholarship, nothing. So I also developed that passion to help people get scholarship. And now I've helped about 8 people to have scholarship in UK. 8 people, Nottingham alone, about 4. It's I have that pleasure doing it. I just feel like helping people, doing it. So that is me. I hate segregation. I hate, people who need to be pushed elsewhere. I want equal opportunity for everyone, and it permeates through my also political ideology as well. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Salid. Of course, once you've mentioned political ideologies, I'll come there. I'll come there. Anybody who follows you on Facebook knows that, of course, you have some political ideologies. I'll come there. But thank you again. And we want to congratulate you for the good work you are doing. Helping, I mean, I know how busy it is to be a lecturer here in the UK, and you've still managed to help people to get scholarships. That is incredible. And we want to encourage you to do more. But watch out for more people coming. I'm sending you messages to help them respect that.
Yeah. So if you do recall, about 2 weeks ago, I do have a lot of people, and I wrote about how the sort of minimal things that people need to do. And
I'm happy to say that TDS reposted that on our page with your permission. Amazing. Thank you very much for all the great things you are doing, Salid. Of course, God has seen that, Allah has seen that, and is going to reward you accordingly. Mary is watching. Mary Abuofe. I mean, I'm wondering why she wasn't on. She definitely had to be here. So Mary,
all the squad are in.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mary says political ideology, of course. And then John Entry, Senior, regards to you as well. Thank you all for watching the Discovery Show TDS TV here on Facebook and on YouTube. We are also on Instagram at the Discovery Show _TDS TV. Please follow us, like, share, subscribe. And of course, I mean, especially on YouTube and on Facebook, subscribe to our channels and recommend to someone. This is a platform that seeks to expose us to information, connect us to people, and ensure that we rise together. That is basically all that this platform is about. And for people who are in academia and all that, we try to simplify what their research is about so that we can understand it in basic language, what the implications are for clinical practice or whatever area they do find themselves. And we've already delved into what palliative care is with Salid. He's explained that quite into detail, the work he's doing, his NGO, how he's touching lives in his own way. This is what we seek to do here on the Discovery Show. And of course, having said that, I have seen Dr. Theo Akujedu here. Theo, regards to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, one of my buddies. Yeah.
But guess what? He has a message for you. Theo says, I will point loads of people to you for scholarship support. So watch out. All right. Thank you very much, Senior, for sending that across. I can also see Che Bafo Apel and then Ama Adom also watching as well. Thank you. John Entry says, you're welcome, bro. You are doing a great job. I do recommend this to a lot of our juniors in Yearn University. God bless you abundantly. Thank you very much, Senior, for that recommendation. Very much appreciated. So, Salid, moving a bit away from that, you did mention you wrote quite a long thesis, I mean, and we reposted that on TDS TV platform with your permission. Yeah. Being a lecturer and at the same time a supervisor for PhD students and also helping people to go through this master's application and all that, are there any specific things you want to point out? I'm sure there are people watching us who are looking forward for PhD and others looking forward for master's, but if you can spend some time to talk about what you look for in a PhD student. And I know, I mean, sometime earlier this year, I remember at a point in time, you were looking for a PhD candidate on your project, but I mean, it was so specific to people who were British, I mean, nationals. And so we couldn't have extended that. If an opportunity comes up sometime later and you need to get someone from other countries like Ghana, Nigeria, and all that, what are the things you'd be looking forward to in order to get a PhD student on such projects?
Thank you very much. Let me just chip in this one before I move into that. So with time, Compass Ghana will facilitate, people to also get a scholarship, because we want to align our mission with that of the government of Ghana in terms of, the health policies and especially palliative care and universal health coverage, how we'll be able to, leverage our resources in terms of human capital resources to help. We need to bring our expertise together. So now moving on to what a supervisor will look for, perhaps not me alone, but any other supervisor. First of all, there are two things involved here. Whether a project has been advertised that a student is applying, or a student is approaching a potential supervisor with his or her own project. So let me tackle the first one and come to the second one. So when a project has been advertised, you need to read thoroughly and understand the project and make sure that you meet the criteria. That's the very, very, very basic and fundamental. Once you take that box, second, you need to also demonstrate your understanding of what the project is about and what is required of the applicant. So sometimes some people do have that skill, but they fail to demonstrate that one in their application. So you need to be able to, for instance, you've read about this work and read about this work that the supervisor is doing, and you think your knowledge in this one will be able to help in that direction. So you need to demonstrate that. Then thirdly, you need to also be able to link your expertise with what the project seeks to achieve, the impact of the project. So sometimes, for instance, that project that we advertised, the funders said, it is only available for EU students. It was rather unfortunate. So colleagues from Ghana couldn't apply. But the aim of the project, although the funders, wanted people from within EU, the aim was to help a project in Ghana. So for instance, if somebody applies from, this is Slovakia, the person should be able to tell how he or she is going to contribute and to meet the aim of the project in Ghana, but not from her own or his or her home country. Are you getting the trick? So once you miss those points, then you may be a good applicant, but this is a funded project. It's not fine. What most projects, we do allow some flexibility so that the PhD student will also bring some aspects to make it very engaging for the student. But that should not, drive away the focus of the main project. Now, moving on to the second stand or the second leg of what PhD supervisors will look for. For instance, if it is your own project, first of all, you need to demonstrate that you are very thoughtful and meticulous, and you've done some background reading about the work that you are presenting. Then, after demonstrating that, you should be able to now demonstrate clearly what is the issue, what is the main issue that you want to research, because that's the focus of PhD. PhD is about finding solution to a problem. So in the first place, if you don't have any problem, then you don't have any, issue applying for a PhD. Sometimes we do understand at that very initial stage, you may need some support, but there should be some prima facie evidence within what you've presented to show that there is some issue that you want to, explore. And it must be well written. And sometimes I think that is the aspect that we international students, we do fall foul. We are not very literally, we are not in Ghana, for instance, especially with the coming into force of mobile phone and other things, we don't write a lot, we don't write letters. So sometimes expressing your views on a paper might be a bit problematic. So you need to write, read over it, give yourself some time, read over it. If possible, give it to other people to read and make suggestions to make sure that what you've written is really conveying the information that you want to, put across. Then you also need to demonstrate that you are someone who is able to work at the PhD level. And at the PhD level, what do we mean? You need to be able to kind of add that kind of criticality in your thinking, because in the PhD, you are coming to, look at some of the theoretical underpinnings of things. So I do tell a lot of people all the time, research work is nothing but concern with evidence. People gossip all the time. You gossip. Okay, that is gossip with no evidence. But in research, they say, even if then it becomes research. So it is something that we know already. So you should be able to kind of show that you are able to work at that PhD level, and you relate it to the impact of the work, as I said in the other one. And sometimes, if you are approaching a potential supervisor, you should be able to read about the person to think, to be sure that the person will also be interested in your project. For instance, if you bring something around, aerospace engineering, fine, there's an aspect maybe I'll be able to contribute, but I'm afraid that may not be my field. So you need to read about the potential supervisor and what the person can bring on board.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Yakubu Salifu Salid, PhD holder and lecturer in palliative care at Lancaster University, live here on the Discovery Show TDS TV on Facebook and on YouTube. The name is The Discovery Show TDS TV. And on Instagram and on Twitter, the name is at The Discovery Show _ TDS TV. At The Discovery Show _ TDS TV. Kindly subscribe, share, comment, and like our pages, and we'll be very much appreciative. Please don't forget to drop your comments. If you have any comments, if you have any questions you need to ask Salid, we are very much happy to read that. And don't forget that this show is ably sponsored by Henbeck 60 Hub. Henbeck 60 Hub, formerly known as Henbeck Agency. You can contact them on +233 546 022 952. I take that again, +233 546 022 952, or henbecktravels@gmail.com. henbecktravels@gmail.com, or just contact them on Facebook at Henbeck Travel Agency. And basically all they do is that if you want to ship any footwears, clothes, watches, bags, and books from any part of the world to another part, they are there to do that for you. And they've just registered a branch, or a hub in Ghana as well. So if you want to ship anything across the world, from any part of the world to Ghana, or vice versa, please contact them and they will do a very beautiful job for you. Salid, catch a breath whilst I come to you in the next few seconds.
Life is a journey and sometimes can be a lonely road. When friends and loved ones forsake you, all you got to do is to be bold. I knew it years ago that those who undermined me had their minds undermined, but I never mind. They should keep on undermining, because I'm a real good, I must undergo mining. Talking of mining, it leads to discovery. We mine to discover, we learn to discover, we observe to discover. Friends can uncover you, at the same time discover you. But I don't want to discover you, I would rather discover more. So I go on the internet and I listen to words of wisdom and intellect. Availability of information, interviews of great men and women all over the diaspora and all nations. Creativity at its best, dexterity of research, no need to go through any formal education. I introduce you to the Discovery Show. Let your friends and your family know the struggles before the blow, their highs and their lows. Pay attention to this show, it will make you feel at ease. The Discovery Show on YouTube got the steez. Now Perry, the presenter, please pose for the camera. I want to hear you say cheese. We are airborne like a flu, I want to hear you sneeze. True. The Discovery Show is live on air, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. See ya. TDS TV, Yearn to learn. Host, Perry Precious. Executive producer, James.
Thank you very much, Livingston Edusipoku, my brother, for watching as well, and all others who have already been acknowledged, and anyone I haven't seen and acknowledged appropriately. We really appreciate your time here, your comments, your feedback, and everything. Genuinely appreciated. We are speaking to Salifu Yakubu Salid, and he's taking us through his life. We've really discussed palliative care in detail, what he has been doing in his own area, his NGO, how he's touching lives in his own way, how he's mentoring others and helping others to secure scholarships, sponsorships, and all that. He's giving us some tips about how I mean, you can apply successfully for a PhD. And he's also giving some ideas about how our various healthcare policymakers can implement or how they can implement all these ideas he's given in order to be able to ensure that we have proper palliative care services in Ghana and any other country that may require such services. So Salid, I mean, of course, you are a nurse, you are registered in Ghana, you are registered here in the UK. I mean, one thing that we keep hearing is reassure a patient, reassure a patient, reassure a patient. In other words, that seemed to be our first nursing intervention through our school. But it is very interesting that if you ask quite a number of nurses what reassurance is, I mean, how did you reassure patients and all that? It's a big problem. And I'm glad to say that yourself, I mean, with our lead author being Samuel Achim, yourself, Yakubu Salifu, Jonathan Bayo, myself, Mary Abua Ofe, and Irene Bosman, we did an integrative review, and the title was The Use of the Concept of Reassurance in Clinical Practice. This paper has been accepted, and I mean, in few weeks or days, we expect that to be out. So I'm sure we are happy to talk about that. Of course, we are not going into detail. We'll leave the details for people to read later. But I mean, as a nurse, I just want to glean from you what your ideas are on reassurances, especially leveraging on this paper that we have written.
Thank you very much. Perhaps you should have asked Achim when he was in. Yeah, but
let me say, I'm glad to say that all the authors on this paper have been interviewed here on the TDS TV. So it's a credit to TDS TV. I know you
that's amazing.
I know you are all going to be extremely big people in few years to come. So remember that TDS TV has interviewed you, and probably we are the first people to go into your life in detail.
Okay, so first of all, I want to congratulate all the authors who contributed immensely for that work. It's very, very great paper. And as you rightly said, I've taught in Ghana for a couple of years before coming to UK. And sometimes you do hear from the students, and I reassure the patient. Then I just start there. Okay, I'm the patient, reassure me. They will just gaze in my face, So that concept is very, vague sometimes for a lot of people. And sometimes it's used without, it's very difficult to define it. So in that paper, we sought to kind of look at how the concept of reassurance is being used and to devise some kind of a standardization, so to speak, to help people so that if somebody say, I've reassured somebody, it has gone through certain processes. And I think you are aware, we plan to take it further to look at the evaluation too for reassurance. So that is the main issue. And when you even come to palliative care, for instance, reassurance is very, very important. And even in our individual lives, people will not always find things going the way they've planned it. And sometimes you need to reassure. So you need to also leverage on some of this information that you have from nursing to kind of look at it. So sometimes you need to look at it much more broader than just within healthcare provision. But, you can even reassure your spouse, when the person is not feeling well or something like that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Viewers, please look out for this paper. It is a very important paper in healthcare practice, especially nursing practice. We keep talking about reassurance, but what does it really entail? What really is reassurance to patients and their relatives and all that? So in few days or few weeks, please, that paper is going to be out because it's already been accepted. I can see Dr. Justice Boachapia, Chief Immunovaccinologist. Justice, thank you very much. We just played your soundbite as well. So thanks for being here, Justice. So Mary says, please, I don't understand the other language you just spoke when you were explaining what research is. I mean, you were speaking tree. I mean, that's what Mary says.
Okay.
Ari Bosman is saying, great job, Prof. And Livingston Edusipoku says, great submission, Prof. Very soon the Prof is going to come. I mean, it's a prophecy they are speaking to you, so expect that. Ebenezer Akore Yeboah says, do University of Lancaster have an accelerated PhD for BSc holders? If yes, can one enroll on a part-time basis? That's an interesting one.
Yes, my answer to it is yes. And currently we do have somebody from Ghana doing PhD on the blended learning. I think he has, undergraduate degree. So he's just doing the accelerated one. So you could look at the website, and if you want to contact me later on for a talk, I'm happy to do that.
Amazing. Thanks very much, Salid. Thanks for your questions. I can see Foster Kwame Amankwana also watching. I mean, before we conclude, you just talk about you can be contacted. If anyone wants to contact you to help them with applications, to get tidbits here and there in order to apply, how did they contact you, Salid?
Yeah, but I don't want to open a floodgate because I told you it's it's something that I like doing. But the bottom line is that I've given some of the information out there. For instance, this year, those who want to apply for Commonwealth, Chevening, and other things, the deadline was just last week. So you may be thinking about 2023. So what I would say is that you should start planning ahead, way ahead. Know the deadline of the scholarships. Know the things that they require. Sometimes even some people, you just realize that you start with somebody and the person doesn't have a passport. I was like, oh, we cannot move on. So get those basic things there, the transcript and what have you. Then when it comes to, writing of the statement, maybe you have a draft, you look at other things, you look at it, give you a feedback, then to be back and forth, you send it to other people, look at the grammar and other things, all of us, we attended side to our English wouldn't be all that great, just to kind of put things in place. And at a point in time, you realize that you are really ready, then you apply. Because there's no point, rushing in things, because it's going to be part of a pool of several thousands of applicants. So you need to project your own such that it will be considered. And that is the trick that perhaps I use, that since 2015 or 2016, almost every year I do get somebody that I have helped getting the scholarship. Yeah.
Thank you, Salid. I can see Priscilla Abba Agri, Mrs. Edusi Poku. Thank you very much, Abba, for watching as well. I mean, Salid, apart from being a lecturer, you are a very passionate farmer. You are always farming here and there, and you love it. So I'm just trying to say that you have other responsibilities apart from family here and there. How do you maintain this work-life balance, and how do you distress in this very tight and busy country called UK?
Yeah, but that's very interesting question. So in life, it is not a linear thing, it is kind of very complicated, ups and down, like roller coaster. So you need to really understand your situation, your own situation, and the various multiple factors that you have to be able to kind of rule out what will best help you. So indeed, it has not been very easy, especially within the time COVID started, because I teach both face-to-face and online. So when COVID came, for the online teaching, I could still teach, in the house. And even the face-to-face, we have to move it. And for the first time, some of the modules have not been taught, online. So moving all these resources online is it requires a lot of effort, and it was really a very hectic time. And now working in the home context, especially having a family, the small kids, they don't know anything about, whether you are working from home working. So sometimes there's a tug of war, fighting them here and there. Oh, keep quiet, I'm in a meeting, I'm doing that. It's been very, very difficult. But sometimes it do also help, because you may sit down for about 2-3 hours without, getting up. But maybe you get a child, misbehaving there, then you get up and go and help. It will help your own help. And as you said, I like farming a lot. When I was even in primary school, secondary school, I had my own farm. I had a family farm. I love doing it. And even up to now, I do it. And sometimes I think it helped me to kind of move away from other things that I do. So it's a bit kind of, tedious, but sometimes it's a bit problematic, especially within where we are, associating with more people, especially where I am. It's much more few Black people are here, and sometimes it's very difficult having the kids, relate with others and even learning. For instance, worshiping, all these things could be an issue, but we try our best to kind of balance things for our well-being and our mental health.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Salid. I can see Bashan Kennedy watching as well. Isaac Emmanuel Dixon also watching. Thank you all for watching. Few other comments. Okatechi Berima says politics. Salid, of course, if you don't talk about your politics, I'm sure Asante Berima Yawe says, great job. Thank you all for your comments and so far for your feedback as well. Yeah, just wrapping up. I mean, this my last but one question to you, probably. I know we've just gone beyond the time by about 5 minutes, but
that's fine. I'm happy to talk for a couple of few minutes. Yeah,
great. Quite a lot of people usually ask, I mean, why is it that after training, after schooling, gaining all the knowledge in the UK, wherever, you don't return back to your home countries to help? Why are you still here, Salid?
Thank you very much. This is a very important question, and I had my own thinking years back, and as times went on, people make decisions based on circumstantial things happening. So when I started my PhD, I don't think if they even awarded me any amount, I would have wished to stay back and work here. But I have always wanted to go to Ghana to help. But just back to the issue that I talked about, how well have we planned to absorb the intellectuals who have been trained outside? This comes back to an issue around national policy. What is our national policy on education, for instance? What is our national policy on health? Such that you'll be able to kind of know that we have this number of people, and by this year they are in. We've prepared for them. They are coming to solve an issue, and there. I'll just give you one example. When I was in Nottingham, I was invigilating one class. Then I realized that more than half of them were from, I think, Taiwan or so, and it was around health economics and economics and policy. So later on, after the exams, I just spoke to a few of them, and they told me that that is the strategic direction of the country. So they've decided to send a lot of people in UK to come and help. So in the next 3-5 years time, this is what they seek to achieve, and we'll be doing this. So let me take the answer to this level. So that is one of the answers. The other answer is that perhaps we not returning is even a good reason, because we are coming to add up to the unemployment situation in Ghana, isn't it? Because if, let's say, I am there, I'm employed, I've blocked somebody's chance. There are a lot of people who are there, they don't even have employment. So perhaps that's on the lighter side. But on a more serious note, we need to kind of look at this one. I did apply to 2 major universities in Ghana, even before I completed, because of course, I didn't have any work. I've resigned everywhere, and I'm in UK. I've applied to the universities. Until today, none of them responded to me. So, obviously, you don't need my service, so I have to look elsewhere. So it was rather unfortunate that after I have paid about £12,000 for my visa application, immigration health surcharge, that's quite a lot, over 1 billion old Ghana cedis. Then a particular university, I think assistant, what do they even call them? The assistant registrar saw me a different out of the 2 that I applied, and said, oh, if I'm happy to join them. I said, oh, how come I didn't think about you? I did apply and nobody minded me. And this particular time is the amount I've paid. If I leave right now, I'm losing those things. But I think another aspect is that we do not necessarily have to be in Ghana to support Ghana. I've told you about the work that I'm doing in Ghana. About Compass, making impact. So you don't necessarily need to be there, but of course, we should also look at some of the issues why people may not want to be there. But I love to be there, to be working for Ghana, to be contributing, whether or not I'm in Ghana or I'm outside Ghana.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Salid. That's an interesting thing, you know. I hear some of these things quite often, so I thought I could ask you, but those were very
and I think you are very right. You are very right about it. So we need that kind of national policy. So you know that when I'm going to contribute to this, and this will be the potential impact. So we lack that one, and not just to kind of push people in a bad limelight. We do suggest most of these things, but sometimes you also know that people are very reticent, about some of these things. They are very difficult to adapt, to change. So when you want to jump into water to rescue somebody, you yourself, you have to make sure that you are safe. You don't just see that somebody is drowning and you jump into there. You risk you dying with the person. So you need to kind of gauge at what time can you jump to save the person.
That can be better called strategic positioning, isn't it? Yeah. So Mary Abo says, unfortunately, our nation doesn't have jobs where we can meaningfully engage or be meaningfully engaged. This is sad, obviously. Sad. And Rosemont Mensah, Rose, regards to you. She says, great interview. So thanks again. Salid, before we run up, I know I'm receiving quite a number of messages about politics, because those who follow you on Facebook know that, you are everywhere with politics. What is it? Tell us from the political landscape, because this program doesn't only look at academia, we also look at politics, religion, and anything. So once we have someone who is a bit politically minded, we want to also get something from you. Tell us, what do you see from, when I talk about politics, obviously I'm not talking about a typical
partisan politics.
We will definitely elevate that conversation. But from the political space in Ghana, what do you think we are doing right? How can the youth especially get on to politics and meaningfully engage to ensure that the nation is developing and we are not doing this back and forth NDC, MPP and all that? You have had a lot of exposure. What do you have to share?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I did told you that my interest in politics, not even within the context of Ghana, Africa, I do follow whilst I was even in JSS, about, Julius Nyerere, I think of Tanzania, people are about, Kaunda in Zambia, and a lot of prominent people, of course, Nkrumah of Ghana and other people, and even reading about people that they think they are they are misleading, like Mobutu Sese Seko, like Idi Amin, to kind of tease out, because before you can be a good leader, you should be able to know what good and bad looks like. And sometimes some of our leaders, excuse me to say this, they have all the qualities that a leader should not have. And you realize that everything that we do in this world is affected by politics. Because politics, and especially in the context of Ghana, where, whoever is ruling has a major stake, unlike other jurisdictions. So we need to be able to contribute to the things that we want. And I've told you my personal philosophy of, ensuring that people get things, treated fairly, equally, they are not discriminated. So anytime I get a government, and that one is regardless of a political party, who think that a certain group of people do not deserve certain things, I get worried. I cannot keep quiet on that. So that one, I've been very vocal and be talking about it. And it cut across even, Ghana and what have you. So I think that we need to, the youth to be very interested, because if you say you are not interested in how the politics is going on, the policies and other things are being going on, all these things affect we, the people within the country. Even if you are not there, your family people are there. And sometimes when you do contribute, they do take. I did contribute to NDC manifesto, MPP manifesto. I sent it to them because I realized that the two people, they have the potential of winning. So about this palliative care, people that I know within NDC, I've given the information, people that I know within MP, I've given information about it. These are the things we should all make sure that, some of these things are pushed forward for the betterment of the people. But sometimes in Ghana, unfortunately, we can have one of the best policies in place, but when it comes to implementation, it's a different thing altogether. So I want to be heard, to express my views on that. And sometimes Facebook, I think that's why some people do see me. I do note I'm very generous, but I do know also tolerate some level of nonsense. So if you jump into gutter, then I jump to there and we wash ourselves. I'll jump back. So that is me. But on a very personal level, I'm very free. Beyond that, I don't harbor any of this kind of. But I'll make sure that I'm making my point, and that is what most people, even in institution, they know me. I don't know how to lie. And if I say I'm doing this or I'm not doing it, there's nothing you can do. So sometimes I do get, serious issue with other people who think that they need to corner people to think the way they are. I'm not like that. I have the way I see things, and I express them, and I stand by them and the consequences of those actions. So that is me.
Yakubu Salifu Salid, PhD holder and a lecturer in palliative care at Lancaster University here in the UK. It's been an interesting chat with you as always. I can see Ethel Koko watching. Frema Osei-Tutu. Regards to you, Frema. It's been a long time. Thank you all for watching. And finally, Salid, is there anything I didn't ask you on your heart, or do you want to rehash, especially things about palliative care? What is the way forward for us as Ghanaians and even Africa at large, low and middle income countries? What are your final words? You can put all this together in 5 minutes. I can also see Robert A.J. Maruna watching, and my own GSS teacher, who is now a Reverend Minister, Reverend Samuel Kwame Krante. Rev, God bless you. I can also see Joel Danyanya Senior. He says, Dr. Salid, dropping bars. Joel is saying you are dropping bars. So regards to you. Thank you very much, Reverend Samuel Kwame Krante, watching you live. Regards to you, proud of you, my teacher. So Salid, 5 minutes, summary and anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, thank you very much. As you may be aware, I'm also educationalist. I've done diploma in education in Ghana and here in UK as well. So I do have special interest in education. I do have special interest in health. I do have special interest, of course, in agric, my foremost profession. I love doing that. So normally, most of my contributions are usually around this one. And I'm also environmental advocate. So, issues around sanitation, I'm quite interested. So I think what we need to do as a country is to get our national philosophies quite clear. When we talk about philosophy or something, that is the direction. What is, I don't want to, sound a bit kind of, but now if you look at our junior secondary school or maybe senior secondary school or JHS, what is the direction? Despite the fact that maybe it's free, is it, how are we, ensuring that the student will be able to get quality education, and what direction? It should be very clear for people, so that sometimes you have even funders, NGOs, we have people who want to contribute into it. But if there isn't any clear policy and guideline, it becomes very difficult for people who want to contribute into it to do so. And it is not every criticism that is bad. Sometimes we want things to work. When we come to health, I think Ghana, our NHS, though it has some challenges, but it's remarkable, as compared to other countries. So it's good. However, we need to look at some of the loopholes, especially following the World Health Assembly resolution on palliative care, for instance, that was declared in 2014. Then that was followed by the Astana Declaration on primary health care, where they've kind of suggested that palliative care should be available at all levels of healthcare provision. And sometimes we do make the mistake that, palliative care is for a certain group of people. And as I earlier on intimated, it is for everybody. Today, you may not need palliative care, but maybe tomorrow, it's just a very thin line. So we need to make sure that it's available for everybody. Then we should also be guided by the universal health coverage, which was adopted by the UN in 2019, where healthcare should be accessible for people in terms of promotion, prevention, rehabilitation, palliative care. Of course, that's my specialty. Then devoiding of any financial barrier. And that's where I think we need to strengthen our healthcare system. So just recently, World Health Organization released a new model to guide people specifically in terms of palliative care, which when I was doing my guest lecture yesterday in Indonesia, I did touch on it. So the areas are research, empowering community, and health policies. So for instance, research, there are a lot of people doing research in terms of palliative care policy. We do have some, but it's not, some can be done more on that. Then, empowering community issues around Compass Ghana and other people, NGOs who are doing that. So those things form the foundation for palliative care. Then you have issues around essential drugs. For instance, morphine. How is morphine available for people in pain? Then we have training and education. I know Ghana College of Nursing, nurses and midwife is doing some courses on palliative care, hematology, and what have you. But we need to get those specialties in various forms to serve as the foundation. Then we get the roof. There's one final point, perhaps, that I think I need to make. We also need, as a country, to look at the things that we are good in doing in terms of, the economists will tell you, comparative advantage. So it is easier for us to, let's say, cultivate sweet potato or maybe corn and export in UK and get more income than maybe spending more time on, let's say, oil exploration and, drilling. How many people are in oil industry as compared to, let's say, agric? Is my interest area that feed a lot of people in Ghana. So we need to look at all these things, and I call on other people to kind of, who have expertise in that, to contribute. And finally, I think our own specialty or our field of work, that is not the entire world. The whole world is very big. That's why it has been divided into sections. People who are doing mathematics, who are doing geography, people who are doing economics, people who are doing palliative care. All these things need to be brought together for us to get, the better Ghana or the better society that we need. And that is where, again, policies and politicians come in, because I can do my part within my field, but there should be somebody who is there, coordinating everything that we are doing for the betterment of people, to alleviate the suffering that people go through. And that is what interests me most, helping people, regardless of where they come from. There are people that I've been chatting with sometimes. Let me just give you some small story. I don't even know their name or don't know them well. So I feel very awkward. Yes, who are you? Or maybe, but I will just continue that conversation. And that's me. I don't need to know even your name, for instance, to be able to help you. We are all Ghanaians.
Amazing. Great. You spoke about compassionate palliative care services and all that. I mean, you've spoken about the NGOs that you are actually dealing with and all that. If there's anyone watching, as part of our program, we also want to create that opportunity for collaborations and all that. So if there's someone watching who wants to collaborate with you, say, like you said, you had ProCash earlier, to help to do screening for men in a particular area. Like I said, my former GSS mate, teacher who is now a Reverend Minister is watching. Maybe if he needs screening of, for prostate cancer, for the
or maybe spiritual care, which is part of what. Yeah, we are quite open. So the concept of compassionate community is using the resources and the people themselves. So there's nothing for the people without them, by them, or through them. So I do tell my student that palliative care is the most democratic, field, or the use of compassionate community. You want to help somebody. So if, for instance, I want to help you, and I just go and sew a nice suit and bring to you, what shows that it's a suit that you need? Or even if it is suit that you need, do I know the size or maybe the color you prefer? So you need to, engage the people. What do they want? How do they want it to be solved? And whether that thing is helping them. So we need everybody on board. So with time, once we get the, the website and other things in place, there are a lot of things that has gone on. We put all this information, and people who want to contribute will be able to kind of help, so that we will alleviate the suffering of people with palliative care needs.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Fantastic and solid Salid Yakubu Salifu. He is a doctor or a PhD holder and also a lecturer in palliative care at Lancaster University here in the UK. And I mean, he shared some great stuff with us, and we genuinely appreciate it. We are not out of words, but we are out of time. Thank you very much, Salid, for all the great impact you are making in your own area. And we are praying that Allah will be with you and guide you and grant you your heart desire, whatever you are doing. We pray that you get the necessary collaborations, the funding and all that you need so that you can touch more lives. I can see Orlando Stephen watching as well. Samuel Atuyosen, who is my GSS mate and also a Reverend Minister. So Reverend Samuel Atuyosen, thanks very much for watching. I can see Selena Ameya also watching. Thank you all for watching, and all people we've been able to acknowledge and not able to acknowledge. We genuinely appreciate all your time and all that you've done for us, and by joining us and by sharing, liking, commenting and all that. Let me say that this program is ably supported and produced by Mr. James Kwabena Opon, and I am your host, Precious Adadidiodu. And also the program is actually sponsored by Henbeck Agency. Henbeck Agency. Now they have rebranded and the name is Henbeck 60 Hub. Henbeck 60 Hub. Henbeck is spelled Henbeck 60 Hub. And now they've registered a new base in Ghana. So basically all they do is that if you want to ship any footwears, any clothes, watches, bags, books, and what have you from any part of the world to Ghana, or from Ghana to any part of the world, or from any part of the world to another part of the world, not necessarily Ghana, just contact Henbeck Agency and they will do such a clean and nice job for you. You can contact them on +233 546 022952. I take that again, +233 546 022952, or henbecktravels@gmail.com. henbecktravels@gmail.com, or just send them a Facebook Messenger, a message on Henbeck Travel Agency on Facebook. Thank you very much, Salifu Salid, for joining us. It's been a pleasure sitting with you, and thanks for supporting this program all along. You've always been watching, commenting and all that, giving feedbacks, and we are genuinely appreciative. Any shout out to anyone, anything you want to say?
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity to share my experiences and my journey, which may perhaps influence some people, or it may be helpful or maybe not. And also thank you for the viewers who have made time to listen to me. So thank you very much.
Amazing, amazing. Indefatigable Sally, thank you very much. And to our audience, my message to you is very simple. As a Christian, I take this from Amos chapter 9, verse 13, reading from the Message Bible. Amos chapter 9, verse 13. It says, yes, indeed, it won't be long now, God's decree. Things are going to happen so fast, your head will swim. One thing fast on the heels of the other. You won't be able to keep up. Everything will be happening at once, and everywhere you look, blessings. Everywhere you look, blessings. So I leave you with this as you go into the week, as you have entered into November and get into the last month of the year. Everywhere you look, blessings. Everywhere you look, blessings. May things fall in pleasant places for you, and I wish you all the best. God bless you, Sally. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes. All right. God bless.